What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the, as Monty says, nightly ritual of Sooner Surge Double Trouble. I also see many people in the comments asking how worked up I'll be tonight. No telling, guys. No telling how worked up I'll be. I do know if Bond is him is on here, Texas basketball ain't any good. Sorry, they lost to UCF today at home.
Well,
OU gets a win at home tonight,
hey,
77-63. It wasn't pretty, but it's a dub.
Jeremy, you may have to help run these comments because my phone is kind of hanging on a book here. But hey, it was a big win for OU. Yes, it's a game they have to win. It's at home versus West Virginia, and I see a lot of comments about Dalpo's new game here, where he's going to take a shot every time Jeremy yells. Dalpo,
I'll be civilized, I guess.
We could really make that a long night for you. But hey, what about this? Texas has one win in the Big 12, and it was a buzzer beater by against Cincinnati. They should be 0-4 in the Big 12. And let me say this right now about Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys.
Not
Dallas
surprised.
Cowboys, they're not serious about winning football. They're not serious about making the Super Bowl.
He couldn't get anyone else. He's got Mike McCarthy as a puppet. He's going to stay there.
Jeremy, 3 years in a row, 12 wins.
Yep.
3 years in a row, have done nothing in the playoffs. Why does keeping Mike McCarthy think it's going to change?
Jay, does he get you fired up at all, Mike McCarthy?
What?
Does he get you fired up at all?
Jeremy, I think it's hard for NFL players to get they don't need the fired up by coaches.
Ask Dan Campbell's team if they get fired up.
Okay, but what I'm saying is he's not a good coach for Dallas. He's not. He's not.
Obviously. Yeah, at least OU wins the game. Oweh played better second half. He was pitiful the first half. Look, Rivaldo Suarez is
had a great game from
pretty special player. Uzan's the best player on this team as far as consistency. But
McCollum's a little bit of a lately.
Yep, he is. He got called for a technical flopping tonight.
He didn't shoot very much. I didn't get to see the game. I was at a business thing, but I saw the box score and tried to keep up with it on my phone. Didn't look like he took a whole lot of shots. Am I wrong?
Rivaldo Suarez is a little better offensively than a guy named Darian Selvey was, but he's just like Darian Selvey on those Samson teams. Hustle, hustle, hustle.
Hey, and
here we go, Jay. You're going to get me fired up.
Do you want me to get you fired up?
No, don't.
I'm gonna.
Because I'll go off on you about it. I already know what you're going to say.
You do not.
Yeah, I do.
You do not.
What's up, Bradley?
What's up, Bradley? Unlimited member Bradley Boyle's been having.
Hey, Jay.
Bradley. Hey, I'm going to go.
Dave Jones already's bringing it up, Jay, so you might as well talk about it.
Well, okay. Here's what I'm going to say. And you can, if you want to go watch the live from maybe a week ago, whenever Saban announced his retirement and they were going to hire DeBoer, I believe I said, go look it up, guys. If you want to in the live, you can go look at it. I said, if they hire DeBoer, it's a bad hire and they will have a lot of guys leave. Jeremy, you said, no, they will not. Jeremy, they're getting torched in the portal. Everybody's leaving. Everybody.
Jay, they are getting torched.
Jeremy, let me finish. If Dan Lanning was hired, these guys wouldn't have went in the portal. My opinion.
You can't say that. That's stupid.
I can't say it. I can say it.
Okay, you can say it and you're wrong. Jay,
I'm not wrong.
How many guys are coming from Washington to Alabama? How many guys are going from Washington?
Washington's lost everybody too. But listen,
are they all going to go to Bama?
If they do, they're going to suck.
They won't. Okay, we'll see. I hope they do suck, Jay. I'm not a Bama fan.
Jeremy,
I think the hire of DeBoer was good, and I think the two coordinators he got was really good. So that's all I'm saying.
Jeremy,
and Blake,
if you were an OU fan, and after Lincoln Riley left or whatever, and they would have brought a coach in from Pac-12, Washington, whatever, and all the players would have came with them, you'd have been like, what are we, Washington? Like, I think that's silly, dude. Alabama
didn't retain a lot of guys.
What?
A lot of guys left when BB came.
Not like this. This isn't even close to OU's departures.
Oh, no, it's not close, Jay. And
it's way more. When
people are saying, oh, why aren't we getting any Bama guys? We're not going to. And Sooner fan, it's not just because the culture thing. For example,
Jeremy,
part of it is that's not the only reason, Jay. It's not the only reason.
What is the reason then?
Well, for one, for example, like Caden Proctor, he's going. I'm pretty sure he's just going to go back home to Iowa. That's who recruited him in the first place.
And I'll say it right now, tonight. I don't even know what the date is, whatever time it is right now.
It's the 17th of January.
Caden Proctor will not be at Iowa. Not happening.
Okay, then he's going to take a big old bag somewhere, I guess.
Okay, and y'all can say he's going to Iowa. You may be right, but I'm going to say
he's from Des Moines, Jay.
What?
He's from Des Moines.
I don't care where he's from. He didn't go there out of high school. Why not?
Purple Orca. You'll have to bear with it. You'll have to bear with us for a second.
Why didn't he go? If he's from Des Moines, why didn't he go out of their high school?
Nick Saban.
And you don't think there's going to be another coach calling with money for him?
Oh, there will, but 247 already has 100%.
I don't care. I don't care what 247 has. I don't care what recruiting site has. I'm just saying my opinion, and my opinion is he will not be at Iowa. And listen, I've been wrong before, but I'm going to say
my opinion. You have, very much so.
And you're wrong on DeBoer. You're wrong on him.
You can't say I'm wrong until they play a game, Jay. That's my point.
You're wrong.
Next year at this time, if they throw up a horrible year, say it. But Jeremy, if they go to the playoff next year, you can't say he's a bad coach.
This is about players. You're wrong in the fact that you don't think if they would have hired Lanning.
Who had better players, Alabama or Washington?
Alabama.
Who had better players, Alabama or Michigan?
Probably Alabama.
I'm just saying, I will agree with you 3 games in if they're struggling. But right now, I'm going to say DeBoer's a great coach. I've never said he's a good recruiter.
Jeremy,
I wouldn't want to play for him.
Jeremy, answer this question. If they would have hired Dan Lanning, would they have lost this many guys out of the portal?
I don't know who they would have lost out of the portal. I'm not Dionne Warwick. I've told you this.
I don't think they would have lost as much. That's just my opinion.
I don't give a crap about Alabama.
Well, it sounds like you do. You're a little worked up.
You can't say someone's a bad coach until they play a game.
I never said he's a bad coach. So listen to what I said. I said they wouldn't have lost as many guys. I didn't say he's a bad coach. He might
maybe not.
Coach. He might
maybe not. But I think you're kidding yourself. There's a lot of people who went there for Nick Saban, and now he's not there. Jay.
Hey, what about this? Answer this question.
What question?
Sooner fan.
Collectives aren't going to overpay for certain players. Then what are we going to use that NIL money for then? Look, I'm not saying OU's overpaying. Not saying they are. I'm not saying it's all about culture either. Like I mentioned culture is a big deal, but if they thought they could go get Caden Proctor, I think they would.
Well, they went after guys in the portal and they just haven't landed them. So why are you bringing people in if you're not going to? I mean, you're going to have to pay.
Hey, Sooner fan, I know they're not overpaying for portal guys, but maybe they overpaid for keeping some of the guys.
Listen, NIL.
And I don't think that's overpaying.
Let me say this. NIL at Oklahoma is not broke. I don't like when people say it's broke.
That's my point.
It's not broke. But, however, in the portal realm of things, it's not up to what other teams are doing because it's not, and I'm going to say it because Sooner fans said it earlier. I think it's more the culture than it is paying for the I do think
they're paying the current players more, even guys that don't play as much.
Well, what I'm saying is they don't want to overpay certain players to make the culture bad. That's
I agree, Jay.
But at what point do you have to change that to go get a 5-star offensive lineman? I don't think they will because they didn't get Caden Green. Although they did everything Caden Green wanted.
They met his requirements, Jay.
Hey, and I'll say this, Purple Orca. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And I listened to the athletic director of Alabama today on Paul Feinbaum, and he was whining about the portal, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to college football, Alabama. Finally, welcome. It's here for you. And enjoy it because there's not many people in the portal for you to get until April 15th when the portal opens back up, whatever date it is. Now, OU has a chance to get some guys from Washington, some guys from Alabama. Are they going to do it? Because they have about a 2-week window here where they can have late enrollees.
Yeah, and Eric, you're right. Other teams are doing the same thing to keep some veterans. Ask Michigan. Michigan did that. And who did us wrong? Caden Green, I'm assuming they're talking about.
But Sooner fan says at some point OU must start paying big-time money for certain players. OU's current players are not better than every other team's transfers.
On defense, they might be. Outside of defensive tackle, we've had this conversation.
And this is okay.
Deion Burks was going to go to Texas.
Hey, and this is
OU
a great
landed
point.
him.
This is a great point by Topher. And I want to ask Topher a question and everybody on this chat. Yes, I agree 100% Topher with what you're saying. The portal stuff is just tricky, but because they don't cross that amount even when they probably should. Now, what would you say to guys that are entering the portal, aka Zaylan's Hurd, aka Caden Proctor, who have 3 years of eligibility? To me, those are guys almost a recruiting class because they got 3 more years. It's not like you're borrowing them for 1 year and taking a risk on the guy.
That's my issue.
That's a little different to me. That's when I think you could maybe go in and I don't know. I'm not an NIL genius. Okay.
I said that last night. Oh, I don't want OU to go get a one and done, especially on the defensive side. I'd rather them go get someone who's going to be there for 3 years. And this guy that's entered the portal and some other ones, they haven't even pursued. I mean, who did they pursue and didn't land as far as like massive 5-star guys? There haven't been many.
Out of the portal?
Yes.
We talked about that last night. There haven't been that many.
That's what I'm saying.
There's been any, but.
And I'm not close enough to this situation to know how much they're paying every player. Don't know it. Sooner fan, I agree if they're going to help you, but is there anyone in the portal that would have, outside of defensive tackle, that would have started on OU's defense this year, this coming up year?
Walter Nolan.
Outside of defensive tackle.
Maybe the defensive end.
The Scorton guy, maybe. Purdue. And
yeah,
they missed
Purdue
out. They went after him and they missed it. They didn't get him.
They didn't get a visit. That's the problem. They didn't get a visit. Hey, but Adam, here's the thing though. They're going to lose people April 15th in the spring. OU's going to have some guys portal. They're going to. They're going to. It's just inevitable. Inevitable. Whatever the word is, I can't even think of it right now. But that's what they're going to lose some guys. I would bet in the spring, and Alabama better hope that a lot of people lose people in the spring because they need some dudes. They're losing everybody. And Chief T-Bird. Oh, sorry.
Knock it over, Jay. Hey, Chief T-Bird. Hurd has not ended up anywhere. It's not at OU, as Sooner fan says. It's not. I think everyone thinks it's going to be Tennessee, but maybe not. He could end back up at LSU. And
hey, we're never going to see a list of how much players get. I don't know. Was that Ron?
I wish we could too, but it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Jet says that OU is going to lose a linebacker. Now, that is the other position that OU is pretty deep on.
Yeah, I mean, they are very heavy there. Topher says the stuff OU likely is selling in the portal is culture, BB record for putting guys in the NFL, the family soul aspect, but that's not why those guys are in the portal. I question why bring them in. And that's a great point, Topher. And that's what I've questioned about. Like they brought Zaylan's Hurd in for a visit. If you know up front you're not gonna, are you just hoping for the chance that he's gonna take culture over money and just bring him in to see? I mean, because you know you're probably not going to get him if you're going to pay a bunch because OU's not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
And there it is. Every single night,
unbelievable,
like clockwork, the GOAT of the Sooner Surge viewership right here, Tanya Shipman, $4.99 super. Thanks so much, Tanya. Hope you're doing well. Kids want money. Kids want playing time. They couldn't care less about culture. I agree a little, but let's change it to kids. I think that there are people who choose culture over that. And again, I'm not going to get into it too much tonight, but I think parents play a big deal.
Parents play
just in raising of their children to. And look, it'd be hard to pass on the money. I get it, but I mean, again, how much money are we talking compared to other schools? And how much is your future worth? There's a lot to be said there. I mean, let's say some people who have chosen culture over money. I think there's more than people think.
Who?
Well, I can talk about any Michigan. I don't.
I'm talking about OU.
Well, anyone who's still there now that's a big time player that didn't leave. Obviously, Caleb Williams didn't. What?
Oh, those players got money to stay.
I agree, but
I do think here's what I'll
Panic
say.
even said they could get more if they left.
Here's the thing. The going rate in the portal is more than probably high school kids coming in recruiting. It's the fact of the matter is you hit at the portal and go somewhere, you're going to get paid pretty dang well.
Hey, Sooner fan, I don't know if Ole Miss has a great culture. I think we're about to find out if they're going to be the A&M or if they're going to be something different. I think Kiffin does some good things in the programs he's been around. People want to play for the guy. No one wanted to play for Jimbo Fisher. They took the bag, and that was it.
Let me ask the viewers this. Let's just – I'm going to compare.
Great point by Jason Murphy, too. I see it every day. See it every day.
Let me bring this up in the I'd love for the viewers to put this in the chat because I want to see what you guys think. I want your opinions. I'm going to have two categories here. I'm going to have culture, and I'm going to use the term, I don't know whether to use bag money, NIL, whatever, but pure money, culture, okay? And here's what I want to do. I want you to name the top 5 teams in each of those categories. Culture, NIL.
Be difficult because I don't know the ins and outs of every program. But Jet, and I like what Mez says. And Jay, I'm going to get to your point and answer it. I like what Mez says. That's a great recipe for success. They did lose a guy because of just how he was off the field, I think. But listen, Jay, I think that I would say first off, for bags, A&M's up there, Colorado's up there. Oregon probably is up there.
Ole Miss.
I don't know how much they're paying. Maybe Bradley can help.
Have you seen what they got in the portal?
But look what Jason says. I think all those teams that Jason says, very, very good culture. And listen, I'll say this. I agree. A&M and Colorado have horrible cultures. Don't tell me Deion Sanders has a good culture. He doesn't.
Miami's
culture
another one.
Problems.
Miami's another one. Bobby says Georgia,
bad culture
Michigan,
at Miami. Bad culture.
What about Bobby? His are good. The only one I would question would be maybe Oregon. I don't know yet on Oregon. I don't know yet.
But, hey, based on what we've just done the last minute and a half, seems like culture wins out. I think it's a combo. It's a combo. It has to be.
It's a combo, but if you're Oklahoma or any teams like Oklahoma, do you kind of go over that? Maybe you have that line drawn in the sand of we're not going over this limit. At what point is it that you do that? Or do you not and just hope to get the guys that want culture more than money?
Well, I would, as a coach, I would never sacrifice culture to get some prima donna, someone who only
you don't know
wants
that.
the money.
Hey, first off, let me say something. The guys that are wanting more money does not mean they're prima donnas. So
I didn't say they are.
That's what it sounded like.
I implied that there are some, Jay, because guess what?
You implied that every one of them is.
No. I said I would never sacrifice culture for a prima donna.
There could be guys that are great culture guys that just want to get paid.
Yeah, there can, Jay. I said I would not sacrifice culture for a prima donna.
Yes.
Hope your water is fixed. Hope you didn't have any busted pipes, Mike.
Yep.
I can't. And look, bear with us because Hunter was working tonight at the OU basketball game, so he may be on late. But so we're running the chat. I didn't see what. Here it is, Chief T-Bird. Culture is a buzzword that has little meaning. If you win, you're deemed to have culture. In order to win now, you have to pay players. There's some truth to that.
Hey, I'll say this. I was at business meetings all day today, and the culture, I was thought about it all day because culture was thrown around all day. Okay. You can have a great culture, but if your sales aren't there, bye-bye.
Same with football, Coach Jay. You can run a good program.
That's what I'm getting
and you can
to.
be
Brent
okay.
Venables,
you can do everything the right way.
That's what I'm getting to. Brent Venables kind of a great culture. 2 years down the road, if they're still 7-5, 7-6 in the conference, culture's not going to matter. At the same way, if you're A&M and paying everybody, if you're winning, nobody's going to talk about it. Now, look what happened when you lose. Jimbo Fisher, bye-bye. So
let me ask you this, Jay. Bob Stoops, good culture?
Yes.
Barry Switzer, good culture?
I'm not even – listen, I'm not coming down your road here because your culture word, it drives me nuts. It really does. And I'm starting to get a little tired of the word culture the way you're
That's why I brought it up, Jay.
Yeah, we can get
Words
an
have
argument.
meaning as you give them meaning, guys.
We can have an argument right now about it if you want to.
I got a trivia question. Let's go to the Barry Switzer era, guys. I'm dropping the trivia tonight because Jay doesn't have one. He fumbled like Farouk. But listen, I got
trivia.
one.
If you don't have one, I can come on top of my head.
Oh, I got one. Listen to this. 1988. Speaking of the Miami Hurricane, great culture back in the 80s, huh? Listen, OU ran 2 trick plays. I believe they are on the same drive in that game, in the bowl game. One of them was the fumble Rooski, as you remember. Two trivia points. First one, who ran the fumble Rooski? Second question, the other trick play was a halfback pass. Who threw the halfback pass?
Man, my mind's blowing up here.
Who ran the fumble Rooski? Who threw the tailback pass? CS Land gets that. Houston. Houston was the Hudson, I think. Mark Hudson. Yeah, I said Houston. Mark Hudson. Who was the guy who threw the halfback pass? Ron, you were right. And Jimmy gets that point. It was Patrick Collins, number 33, halfback pass to Keith Jackson.
CS Land and who'd you say?
CS Land and Jimmy Satterfield is what I show on the. We'll double check that to make sure, but
let me
Rooski was so good. Would it ever work today?
It just worked this year at Rutgers against Ohio State. I watched it.
It did work.
I want to address something here that Bobby Wiley, an Sooner Surge Unlimited member, Bobby Wiley, has a great comment here. Keep culture, give me recruiting and development over everything else. Okay, here's what I would say that. I agree, Bobby, but recruiting is also NIL, okay? OU did not land this power line without NIL. So I see what you're saying, but that also means NIL. Because you see what I'm saying,
It's a combo, Jay. We know this.
Jeremy, you're not going to be a top 3 or 4 recruiting class without having good NIL.
OU's good in NIL. I think the money's there. Again, we could talk NIL till we're blue in the face.
We could talk it every day for the rest of the year, for sure. But
someone asked a question, and no, I don't think they had great culture. I don't think they have great culture.
Let's just go in and get an argument about culture. I'm ready to go.
I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
I am. Why?
I agree that OU's not developing at an elite level.
Why are you not ready to do it?
They're not developing at an elite level. Someone earlier asked, what are we looking forward to the most about this season? I think. And for one, I'm looking forward to Jackson Arnold, seeing what the real deal.
I agree. I agree with that, Jeremy. And I'll say this to Adam's comment. I like the way BB's doing it. Personally, I like the way he's doing it. Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat to all of it. Just win, baby. No, we're not even talking about this if they're winning. Okay? If next year they can make the playoff, we're not even discussing this. Okay? So, just win, baby. A more dominant defensive line, as Sooner fan says, that's probably the most important thing after the power line just happened. You're wanting to see these guys now.
Hey, Chief T-Bird, I'm not going to prove you wrong, but here's what I'm going to say again. Tell me anybody on the defensive side from the portal outside of Walter Nolan or Nick Scorton that would have started on this team next year in 2024. You
gotta remember something too, Chief. The money, I think the money's there in OU's NIL. They're not. There's probably
overpaid.
There's probably guys at Ole Miss. I can name some other schools that they did pay so much to that other guys on their team aren't going to get as much, and maybe that's why the running back left. I don't know. Nobody knows.
I agree with Purple Orca and some other. The offensive line, they missed a couple guys. Okay, they missed some guys, and maybe it was the bag chasing. I don't know about Zalen's hurt, but I love Mark's point here. Mark Vigil dropping some truth here. Canick, a lot of OU's defense next year, I think, does ride on Canick's development and how much growth he has over the offseason. And we could say Kip Lewis too. Look, I like Kip Lewis, but you're kidding yourself if you don't think he needs to put on some weight this semester, this season coming up.
Yeah, if he put some on, it'd be great. And what about Eric says the safety from Clemson that committed to Missouri? He would have been good.
Would he have played over Bowman?
No, not over Bowman. But
Would he have played over Dolby in the nickel? Because Dolby was pretty good.
He's really good, Jeremy.
I agree. He is good. He is good. I actually, and Jay, I'm not going to argue because I know Jason likes Kip, I think, a little better than Canick. I'm a big-time Canick fan. I think Canick is pretty special. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the toughness. And I think Kip does too in some areas. I don't think Kip's size is elite right now.
Hey, I want to say something. Purple Orca. Caleb Downs makes any team win, okay? Caleb Downs is really good.
He's really good, Jay.
I disagree with that comment because I think he's that good.
Yeah, All-American.
I mean, that's silly.
An All-American.
Yeah.
Sooner fan. I agree with you on this one. Kobe McKenzie, if it doesn't happen this year, his time may be done. Going to get passed up.
Yeah. I mean, he's third-year guy now, coming in his third year, so.
Yeah.
So you really think
Jason, I disagree a little with Jason Murphy here, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree a little. In high school, he played quarterback. He's also played a lot of safety. Now, if you want to say his football IQ on Venables' system is low, 100% agree. Football IQ in general, I think, is pretty high, but I think we're going to see him make the transition, the jump, the leap that Stutzman did between his second and third year. That's what I expect.
Hey, I agree with that kind of, Jeremy. I see what you're saying, Purple Orca, because you would, and somebody else said, if you get Caleb Downs, who leaves? I mean, so, and listen, that's the coach's dilemma, and every portal guy they get is, does it work? Does him coming in, is it going to cause us to lose anybody else? If we pay this guy this much money, what do we lose from our current team? There's a lot to consider, okay? So I know we're on here talking about it for fun, and we can do that because we're fans. It doesn't matter. But they have serious decisions to make, whereas you bring a guy in, you maybe you feel like it is overpaying an offensive lineman, but he's really going to help you out. He's really going to help you out, but do you lose two other players because of it? I mean, there is so much to consider. The bottom line is fix NIL, please. Fix it.
I agree.
It's broke.
Hey, and Sooner Legends, we'll maybe use some of those memory lane videos and blast from the past for trivia. Canick does. It screams first team All-American. Is there anything Stutzman does that Canick can't? I don't think there is. I think Canick can do it all, honestly.
Stutzman knows the defense way better.
Well, yeah, I was talking about physicality.
Let me say this too. Let me say this today. We all saw the news today. Ted Roof got hired as the defensive coordinator at UCF. Great for him. I'm shocked by it. Great for him. I'm absolutely shocked by it. Great for him. I'm shocked by it.
Malzahn. It's a Malzahn thing, Jay. It's a chemistry thing with Malzahn. They're buddies. That's really what it is. I've got to get to Eric's point here. Absolutely correct in some areas. OU lost to Kansas. OSU, Arizona should have easily lost to BYU or UCF. I will say the defense won in that BYU game. Bowman's pick 6. How much do you really believe in this defense on a scale from 1 to 10? I'm going to say right now it's a 5, but let me with a little caveat here. Until Stutzman got hurt against Kansas, this defense was pretty good. Now, they came off the bye week after Texas and threw just a clunker out against UCF. Absolutely did. But I would like to say I have faith that they're going to be a 9 with who they got coming back. But I'm going to say a 5 because it's OU and I don't know what to expect.
Are you ever confident that the defense is just going to have a great year the whole year?
Let's do this, Jay. One area, look, is this a fact? One area that OU's defense improved in significantly, short yardage defense.
Yeah, and run defense.
Yeah, except at the end it was bad.
Well, I still think run defense is pretty good.
Short yardage, they were better. And they didn't have as many breaks in the secondary in the back half this year. Didn't have as many.
Yeah.
Didn't force a lot of turnovers. You're right.
You can say it's a Grinch hangover. You can say it's the Mike Stoops hangover. Whatever it is, I still can't get it off my back when OU's playing a game that I think the defense could just leak like a sieve. I mean, I haven't got there yet as a fan, guys. I have not got there. Now, here's what could make that different next year, in my opinion: the defensive line,
That's what
because
Adam says.
that's where it all starts. And if that gets better and better, then yes, I could. If they're putting pressure on quarterbacks all the time, they got the defensive backs. I think here's the deal: the defensive back in the zone coverage was not good last year, but it doesn't matter what defensive back you are. Deion Sanders, you're not covering a guy very long out there.
No, and Jay,
In this game of sports, you're not.
Listen, OU's defense in the bowl game was really pretty good.
It was up and down, but
go look at the numbers, Jay. They had what? How many sacks did they have? How many TFLs did they have? They held the Arizona quarterback to like his least yardage for most of the year. That game was because of the pick six turnover from Farouk, fumble, whatever you want to call it, and other things. That was a deal. And Dal Pois is right. Get off the field. The long drive. Get off the field. The time of possession stuff.
Yeah. Now, I think the offense could help the defense out this year.
Yeah, I mean, but Arizona, I'm not even counting the Arizona game because honestly, I thought the defense played pretty good.
Hey,
and we could say this: the Kansas game, they didn't play good, but they got the 2 turnovers at the end in the offense. Key turnovers, key moments.
And they couldn't put them away.
And like Eric said, the turnovers this year were better. We had great forced turnovers, got big time turnovers.
I will say this. I think Woody has the most to prove. When you look at guys that are coming back out of those 3, Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Woody Washington, in my opinion, Woody Washington has the most to improve and the most to prove and the most to really up his draft status. Listen, Jeremy, you know my thoughts on Woody, okay? We don't need to get into it too much. I said he's a good cornerback. My thing is, I mean, you can go through the last 2 years, and yes, you can say, man, he's been solid. Solid is a great word for him. But how many game-changing plays has he made?
Well, I'm not getting upset. I disagree with you a little on Woody Washington.
In what way?
I think Woody Washington is really, really good.
I think
I can count on my hand.
Count on your hand right now how many game-changing plays.
What I'm getting ready to say is I can count on my hand how many times he's got burned. It's not many. We put out
not
Arizona.
What I'm saying. Not what I'm saying.
I think he knocks balls away. He's locked down a lot. They don't even throw to his side most of the game,
Jeremy,
Jay.
I'm going to say
they pick on
again.
Gentry Williams.
I'm going to say it again. How many game-changing plays?
Okay. Give me a corner in college football who's got game-changing plays.
Gentry Williams made some last year.
Gentry Williams, after the first 2 or 3 games, got roasted. They picked on him.
First 2 or 3 games, he made some big-time plays.
I don't know if he had any interceptions, Jet.
He didn't have any.
I'm not saying he's an elite corner. I think he's a good shutdown corner. The problem is, a part of the deal, guys, and I'm just going to say this, and this is not a knock on BV. The zone coverage has to stop.
No, it doesn't. You're dumb.
And when I say stop, that's the wrong word. It's got to.
Yeah, it is.
There's got to be more man coverage.
You're absolutely insane if you want zone coverage to stop completely.
I want more man coverage, Jay.
I like multiple. I like both.
Do you want more man or zone?
Jeremy, it depends. It depends on what kind of defense they're playing. They got to get better.
I want man on man. I want double team the best receiver, and I want to blitz the house. Period. I don't care, Jay.
Man, you're deep. What are you, Manny Diaz? Are you Manny Diaz lover? You're a secret.
Listen to me. Diaz. I'm old school, I guess, but if I have an okay corner, I'm putting him on.
Go check out Manny Diaz's defenses lately. See how they did. See how you did against them. Oh, yeah. Go look.
Why are you comparing? Everyone in here is saying more man. I don't know what you're talking about, bud. You're wrong, Jay.
You're wrong saying blitz a house every play. I want to be multiple.
I'm bringing a lot of pressure. Then my DBs don't have to cover as long, Jay. That's kind of how it works.
I know he got a job at Duke. I just don't think he's that good. Hey.
You are right. Listen, better pass rush allows you to go man too. Yes.
Let me say this. I'm not saying Woody Washington's a bad cornerback. In fact, I think he's a really, really good cornerback. But I also think And
He's
I
more
think
man. That's
O'Shea's
what he
right
is.
here. I think he's better man-on-man cover guy. And maybe if it was more man, he would have more interceptions. That's a good point. I mean, I can agree with that.
Man on man against Johnny Manziel wouldn't be bad as long as you had a spy on him. Johnny Manziel doesn't even watch film, so I guess it wouldn't be bad. He didn't watch any film, so you got to bring the heat more often. Let me ask you this, viewers. At the Arizona game, OU brought more pressure. It was noticeable.
Oh, okay. But
now listen, just a second. Have you been disappointed, Sooner fans, in the lack of pressure that BV has tried to bring? He's tried to bring pressure with the front four a whole lot. Like, I thought it was going to be more pressure.
But Jeremy, you would think with some of the four guys they have out there that they could beat their guy too.
I think he thought they could beat their guys too much. But if they can't, you got to bring more pressure.
They found something with Dolby. He was doing really good on the blitz. Kendall Dolby, they found something. And maybe they will with Deshaun McCullough Cheetah next year. I don't know.
And I'm just going to say this, and I'm not being highly critical of BV, but I'm being a little bit critical in this way. All we heard was suffocating, relentless, in your face. And a lot of times OU's on their heels in zone coverage. I'm tired of it. And honestly, I think BV knows that. And he needed to relinquish some of that and say, Zach Alley, come bring a little more man.
Hey, and I know we probably got some SEC people on here. I know Bradley's probably on here, but I would love to know.
Maybe it was Ted Roof.
I would love to know y'all's opinion. Next year, next season, who's the best quarterback OU's going to face?
Next year?
Is it going to be the Tennessee?
Jackson Dart's going to be up there. Quinn Ewers is going to be up there.
Tennessee quarterback, Ewers. I don't think South
Carolina. Brady Cook's pretty good.
Probably Dart might be the best quarterback. Well, Milroe. I just don't know about Milroe, man.
I'm not sold on Milroe at all.
I mean, the most people are saying Jackson Dart.
Hey, I got to get to Chief T-Bird. Not only is he a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, again, join up on our Sooner Surge Unlimited.
He's dead right on.
I don't know if you've joined the Discord yet, but if you haven't, you need to get on the Discord. There's a lot of members who are not joined on the Discord, and we appreciate y'all doing it. We can chat during the day, but McCullough should be blitzing a lot, not in coverage. Not in coverage.
I would agree with that. And Purple Orca's right on this. You got to beat Bama next year with home game. Got to win.
Have to. And I've got to talk to Chuck. I think Hunter just joined up. Appreciate Hunter. Hey, Chuck, let me say this. I'm not saying BV doesn't want to rush the passer. I think he does. BV wants to bring pressure. When you're the head coach and you have a coordinator, and maybe the coordinator is calling stuff, maybe you are. I just think it's a difficult situation. And Chuck, so I'm agreeing with you. He wants to bring pressure. But let's just be honest. They didn't. They didn't a whole lot.
Yeah, a lot of people saying Ewers. Maybe. I think, my personal opinion, I think Ewers is better than Dart. Would you agree with that? I think he's better than Dart. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Mark. Bama's having at least 3 losses next year. Okay? I would bet Bama has 3 losses next year. That would be my go-to right now if I'm having to pick how many losses. Hunter, you agree with me as far as Ewers better than Dart? I think that's what you're saying. I think Dart's really good. I think he's a little small. I don't know how good Dart is about reading defenses yet. I do think he's a really good quarterback, and I would think the top 2 next year are going to be Dart and Ewers. To me, those are the 2 best quarterbacks. Now, the Tennessee guy's good. He's very talented. I just don't know how
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, their O-line wasn't great, and they lost some guys, but they did pick up a guy in the portal, I believe, that'll be pretty good, and they may get Zalance Hurd. They get Zalance Hurd, there you go. Why did you even show that comment, Jay?
What about Zalance Hurd?
Chuck, I don't think anyone's blaming. I mean, the players have a lot. Chuck, you've watched this. You've been a long-time viewer, Chuck. You know I've been very critical of Guys like Bothroyd, 0 sacks. Ford, 0 sacks. Other guys, no pressure. I've been very critical of players, very critical. But coaching, that's just the way it is.
Hey, nobody's got beef with you, Bond. I'm just going to say this.
Texas basketball, awful. How about that?
Texas basketball, they are horrendous. That's
for
sure.
Bond, here's my problem with you, Bond. And I'm just going to say it because Jay probably won't.
Well, hey, listen, first off, don't tell me what I'll say and what I won't. Okay? I can say whatever I want to say. Okay.
My problem with Bond is getting on and saying, I'm here. Okay.
We have 128 other people on here, though.
Yeah, there's plenty of others on here, too, that aren't coming up here and saying, hey, guys, I'm here. Show me up on here. Come on. That's all I'm saying, Bond. I'm glad you're here, though. Appreciate you.
He admits they're awful in basketball, so.
Oh, yeah.
He can at least admit that. That's good. Here we go. Let's just elephant in the room here. Culture. The
culture word, that should be the guy who said he's going to take a shot when I get upset. It should be when the word culture is mentioned. That'd be a lot of them, I'm sure.
So read this and then answer.
I did. Here it is. Losing to teams you shouldn't, losing to teams you should beat or shouldn't lose to. Is that a culture issue? Eric says it is.
What do you think?
I'm going to say this.
First off, you got to do something for me. You need to define culture, in your opinion.
Well, I think there's a lot of facets of culture. I think integrity, having guys with good character. There's a lot that are culture. Do I think OU's culture is perfect? Absolutely not. Because honestly, if it was, we wouldn't have post games like Kansas, where Dylan Gabriel and other guys are saying, I just don't know what to say. I mean, like, obviously there are some things I think behind the scenes last year. Jay, why are you putting your hands on your head?
I'll keep going.
I think there are some culture maybe issues still. It's not perfect, but teams lose with good culture. You're not going to win every game. Now, I wish you could, but losing to a team you should beat, I think, could be. You still have a good culture, but the guys just got the big head a little bit. There's not enough accountability.
Top 4 teams in the SEC with culture. Who are they?
I don't follow the other teams, Jay.
Jeremy, you said last night Michigan
Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, I'm sure, have good culture.
You said
but
last night.
I don't know about Georgia as much. I know Bama
said last night Michigan had a great culture.
Yeah, and again,
wait.
I want to answer Eric's question with what you just asked, Jay. I think Michigan had a great culture, not just because they won it all. I've seen stories throughout the year where all those guys were in it for each other. They held each other accountable.
But you just said integrity was part of it. They cheated.
The players didn't.
The coaches knew about it.
I'm talking about inside the locker room, Jay, okay? They also had a lot of old guys. That helps your culture.
So does that help your culture?
I think it does. Experience helps culture.
So you're saying teams like Alabama didn't have good culture?
Jay,
no.
I said Saban has a good culture.
Because they didn't have a lot of older guys. They leave after
Jason,
2 years.
I can't. How about this? I can't comment on culture because I'm not in the locker room.
Well, and go back to Eric's original question.
Let me talk about culture because I'm a coach, Jay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Let me say this. The only culture I can attest to is teams that I've been around. So I can't really comment on a lot of things, except I can say this. If your best players are also your best practice players, that's good culture. I'll say this. If people are holding each other accountable throughout the season, that breeds good culture. So I'm giving a definition here. Best players are also your best practice players. Great culture. Okay.
Agreed.
If you're holding each other accountable, great culture. If you're doing the right thing outside of practice, if there's good chemistry, if guys are hanging out, I think all those things help culture. But I can't pinpoint one thing. How about that? Is that good enough? Is that okay?
No, that's good enough as far as your description on culture, and I would agree. Go look at OU women's softball, Patty Gasso. They have a culture, but let me say this very clearly. I don't know the name of the movie. I think it's called McFarland USA, bunch of track stars, cross country. And I know you coach cross country. Jeremy, in football, in college football, you can have the best culture out there, does not equal wins.
It doesn't. It doesn't equal wins, but it helps
it's
bring
not like
about
you're going to be a
How about
Disney
that?
movie. You're not going to be a Disney movie and have great culture and sucky players and go win a natty.
Have you not seen Facing the Giants? I'm just kidding.
Jeremy, stop.
I'm
And
just kidding.
what I'm saying is you got to have culture, but it's also got to be
It's both, Jay.
The key word in it is me. It's got to be a winning culture. Patty Gaskell has a winning culture. People go play for her not just because of the culture, but just because they win. That's part of the culture word that you did not mention. Winning. I think winning is part of the culture. Winning culture, losing culture. Winning culture, losing culture.
I agree. And there's two good points I want to get to. Marcus first. It's a lot different on a basketball team where there's 10 guys, 15 guys, the other ones. And I got to say this, Ron Wood is dead on as well. At some point, maybe, like Switzer said, go elsewhere. I mean, it's about winning natties. And I think BB wants to say it, but I'm going to be honest. BB hasn't really spoken that it's about natties as much. He's talked culture a lot.
And Chief T-Bird.
Barry Switzer was, it's natties or else.
And did he have a good culture? Because on your description, you would say
Jay.
no.
I don't know.
You would say no.
People would run through a brick wall for him. I know that.
But you would have said his culture was bad. I know you. Okay. So
I agree. Get off the culture, Donnie. Let's get off it. You can't
T-Bird.
really define it. I'm not in the program. I've said that.
Okay, but let's get to Chief T-Bird. Thanks so much, Chief.
Hope BB can bring a culture of getting consistent pressure on it. Yeah, this is right. Culture is overrated, is what Chief T-Bird's saying, but not what's not overrated is Chief T-Bird dropping a super. Appreciate it, Chief T-Bird.
Also and
he's an unlimited member. Hunter dropped that in the chat. Hunter already dropped it. Sooner Surge unlimited member.
Uncommon man is less than play like a champion today. Yeah, I don't want to talk about culture all night. I think here's the deal. Here's the last thing I'll say about it. To have a good culture and to have a good team to win a natty, you got to have a good culture and you got to have great players. Bar none. You got to have both. So we can argue it all till we're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. You got to have both.
Look, I could bring something else. I think that, and this is really chasing rabbits here, but back in the 80s, you could read newspaper clippings, but social media affects culture so much.
Huh?
Do not nod your head like that.
I can nod. That makes zero sense to me at all.
Okay. The world of social media affects culture big time.
How does social media affect my culture as a coach?
What?
Yeah, what? I'm asking a question.
Jay, the generation now, everything is about posting something, seeing something.
What's that to do with your culture? I'm so confused.
It totally affects culture.
Dude, you're going down there.
It is, and I'm not chasing it. I'm not going to chase it, Jay Jones. It is a deep subject, but there's truth to it.
Go back to Eric, because he brought up, he agrees with the culture definition, but OU is still losing. Something is broken. And here's what's broken. They haven't been able to get, and here's what I'll say. They've done better the last 2 to 3 years recruiting. They've been top 5, right? They're getting there. They got to have another year or two of great recruiting classes to get the depth of 4- and 5-star guys to win natties. I think the days are over of 3-star teams winning a national championship. In fact, I don't think it's really happened that much ever. So
I don't know how many 5-star Michigan had, Jay.
Jeremy, they had plenty of 4 and 5 stars. Okay,
5 stars that started to be interesting to look at. But hey, Thunder OU Sooner is dropping a great recipe here. Chemistry wins championships. Culture builds chemistry. I like that. But when Eric talked about something broken, and I don't want to get on it because we're 50 minutes in, and I'll get fired up. And Dalpois will lose it. Listen, I'm going to say it right now. And again, no, I better not even say it.
Hey, I'm going to say this.
Well, I better not even say it. I better not say it.
I want to put something here. What Hunter just put in the chat, and I think Eric was kind of hinting around this. Is that a culture issue?
Is what?
Losing the teams that you should beat.
No.
You don't think so? Is it a
I
player
think
issue?
I know what it is, but I don't
Is
want
it a
everyone
player
to get
issue?
upset on me.
Is it a player issue?
Yes. It's a leader issue as far as
Player
in
issue.
my
They have
in my
better
opinion,
players.
Dylan Gabriel, other guys could have won. They didn't play well, Jay.
Say
I
it,
don't
dude.
think they
Say your
had
mind.
that dude. I don't think they had that dude on offense to make those big time plays.
But what about
Let's be
defense?
real.
What about
The year
defense?
that OU won the Natty, they could have lost 2 or 3 games to teams
Jeremy, go back to when OU won a national championship. There were games that offense struggled and defense just won the game for them, period.
Agreed, but Josh Heupel made heck of plays when it mattered.
Well, I remember the national championship game, they scored 13 points. I remember the game they played OSU. I remember the game they played OSU that year. What did they score? 7, 9?
Jay, what I mean is, okay, Jay, you got to have that dude, is what I'm saying. You got to have that guy on one side of the ball. I think Danny Stutzman is that guy. Billy Bowman can be that guy. On the offensive side, it's going to have to be Jackson Arnold. They didn't have the guy last year. You can say what you want about DG.
In fact, I don't know if they still do yet.
I mean,
I think Jackson Arnold is. But
Baker Mayfield was that guy. Kyler Murray was that guy that could put you on the back and go get the point that you needed. They didn't have it this year.
Hey, I don't know. I was going to try to get to Jen Kennington. What happened on UCF's campus night? Are you talking about? Is it because they beat Texas in basketball? Did they do something crazy? I don't know what you're talking about. In regards
Ron,
to
I'm in agreement, Ron. 4th year of BV, and it should be next year. There's
third year.
We've already seen transformation. I think BV is the guy. I absolutely do. I love Brent Venables. I like everything he's doing. If he's 7-5 next year and the year after, he's gone. I don't think he will be 7-5 because I think that he's doing things the right way. He's getting the talent, top 10 talent. I think it's going to happen. But I do think having a guy like Jackson Arnold is going to help it happen more.
Hey,
how about that?
I think this is a great. I think we probably table this discussion till tomorrow. But it's going to be a talk.
Tabled it.
What?
You've tabled it?
No, what I'm saying is it's probably a discussion for a whole live about portal. I mean, you could go on and on about guys that OU is not getting in the portal. I mean, the OU fan base right now is very, I would say, almost split on getting guys in the portal or overpaying for them. To me, it's. And by the way, the Baker Mayfield stuff coming up on here. Did anybody hear what Dan Campbell said about Baker Mayfield today?
What did he say?
He said that he was going to work out a tight end. Dan Campbell was, probably Mark Andrews. And Baker said, I'll throw for him. And then Baker threw for everybody else that was there, even though he could have saved his arm.
He's him, Jay.
And you want to, Baker Mayfield is him. He's a team guy. And the fact guys like Odell Beckham didn't like playing with him is asinine.
Yeah, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, bad mistake. Bad mistake. Detroit is great. Just comments he made today. You can go watch Baker's press conference.
Is that Sauce Johnson? Who are you talking about?
I got to get back here for a second with Hunter. And appreciate Hunter being on after working the game tonight. We are in full season off-season mode. Jackson Arnold, it is yet to be determined if he is that guy. I agree it's yet to be determined, but everything that's been said by other players, he seems to have it. You didn't hear him talking about DG like they talked about Arnold. Just saying.
That's true. Sooner fans dropping jokes in here. Dad
joke.
Pirates' favorite restaurant, Arby's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
break it now. What do you mean? 7-5 would not be a good first year in the SEC.
No, he would get another year though after next year.
I said that. I said
you
2
said
7
2 years.
5.
You said 2 years at 7-5. I agree with Chuck too on that. Don't you?
As far as what?
He had to grow up. He did have some. I mean, I think if you look at Baker Mayfield this year in the NFL, he's way more mature than he was even 2 to 3 years ago. And he's also got a baby on the way.
He's matured in ways. Yeah,
too,
he's matured. Jay, people should mature over time.
Yeah, and
I guess I haven't though. I'm still immature. People say so. Whatever.
Well, you're my son. So
hey,
Nobody said that tonight. I don't look like your daddy tonight.
Yeah, Jason just read the comment, but
I haven't read it, so I'll have to read it after we get off here.
Hey, listen, I was pretty civilized tonight. Jay tried to get me going a little, but appreciate that everyone that's been on here again tonight. Every night, you guys are just unreal.
Hit the like button, please.
Hey,
it helps
before everyone gets off, hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. Hunter also dropped the Sooner Surge Unlimited membership. And listen, if you're a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, you've got to join the Discord. There was a member video that went out today, talked about recruiting, and there's a comment link where you can join the Discord. Bradley's been on there. A couple others have talking things. Join up on that, but appreciate it so much.
Hey, yeah. And if you don't join that, it's fine. Nobody's. But the big, if you're not going to do that, the least thing you can do is exit right now and hit like. It really does make a difference. Hey, Brandy, how are you tonight? Thanks for joining. Yeah, you can still watch it even though we'll be getting off here, but hit the like button, please.
I think I hurt Bond's feeling tonight.
He's not on here. I don't know.
Bond is him kind of exited when I called him out about wanting all the attention.
I don't think.
Appreciate you being on there, Bond, but I'm just saying. We got elite viewers here at the Sooner Surge. Elite. Appreciate everyone that's on here. Subscribe, like. We'll be back on here tomorrow. Hey, it's off season, but guess what? We always talk for about an hour.
Hey, yeah, every night we'll be on here. And Tanya, super, $4.99. Chief T-Bird, super, $4.99. Appreciate y'all so much.
We got to say something. He said I was wrong for saying that.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Sorry. I'm not here to hurt feelings. I'm just calling it like it is. That's what I do. That's what we do. That's what you all do. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow night. Boomer.
Sooner.